You're listening to Simple Habit, a daily vacation for your mind.
Welcome to Simple Habit Podcast. My name is Cory, and today I want to talk a little bit about stress. Now, how much is stress a part of your life these days? We live in a culture that is so demanding, so fast-paced, and so work-oriented that stress has just become sort of an integral part of people's lives, especially in America. And let me say this from the get-go, that I'm not opposed to stress. I don't think stress is this evil thing. And in fact, stress is a huge impetus typically in our lives that helps us grow, that can really serve us. And I imagine you can think of times in your own life where stress has served you. Maybe in meeting a deadline, maybe in telling you that maybe this relationship isn't working anymore. Or, for me, I remember when I was writing my graduate thesis, thinking about what would happen if I missed this deadline and all the extra time I would have to spend writing this. That stressed me out, and it caused me to finally sit my butt down in a chair and start writing. So there are times in our life where stress can be hugely beneficial. But it's when it becomes our default way of being that it becomes toxic. And so what I want to talk a little bit about today is how you can perhaps shift your mindset around stress, or how you're in relationship to your work and your life in such a way that stress does not have to overwhelm you. Let's start by just looking at what the definition of stress is. And there's been many proposed throughout the years, but one that's most common is that it's when our perceived demands are greater than our perceived resources to meet those demands. When our perceived demands are greater than our perceived resources to meet those demands. Now, what's the key word there? Yeah, I hear you saying it. It's perceived. And why? Because often what we perceive to be demanding is very different than what's actually demanding in our lives. And so, for instance, when you're in the shower in the morning, are you actually in the shower? And you go, well, of course, Cory, where else would I be? Yeah, well, your body is in the shower, but is your mind in the shower? Chances are, you're already at work, or you're making breakfast, or you're taking care of those emails you need to, or you're already planning your retirement in 30 years, and you're bummed out that you're not going to be able to retire when you want to retire, and maybe you're getting married in the shower, and you're getting divorced in the shower, and maybe your boss is in the shower with you. The point is that we can be in one place like the shower, and yet not be there at all. And so what happens is that we're in the shower and our perceived demands become, well, I got to make breakfast. I got to go to work. I got to take care of those emails. I have to have that conversation with that boss. I have to figure out when I'm getting married. I have to figure out how I'm going to get divorced. And I mean, this is what our minds can do. And nobody has the resources to meet those demands. I don't care who you are. And what's interesting is that your brain is not very good at telling the difference between those thoughts of what's happening and what's actually happening. Now, if we bring our attention to what is actually happening right now, in this moment, you're just rubbing soap on your body, and you're just shampooing your hair. And everyone has the resources to be able to do that in any given moment. That's not very demanding. But it's when we take on the perceived demands that things become stressful. And maybe you say, well, Cory, I get a lot of my thinking done in the shower. Or it's important for me to think in the shower. And yeah, I agree. I get a lot of my thinking done in the shower too. But would you agree there's a difference between being aware that you're thinking in the shower and that these are just thoughts and plans in the shower versus being caught up in those thoughts and caught up in those plans as if they're actually happening? When we're on automatic pilot and not mindful, not aware, we can get lost in the plans, lost in the story, lost in the thoughts, that they become real for us. Now, if we're aware, okay, I'm just thinking, I'm just planning, and that's not happening right now, the relationship to those thoughts and plans is different. And so the demands is just, now I'm just thinking in the shower, but not caught up in the thoughts. You get that difference? All right. Well, you might also say, well, hey, Cory, it's easy for me to be peaceful in the shower. That's an easy time. Well, what about when the proverbial stuff hits the proverbial fan? Or what about when I'm actually at work and I have 100 emails to take care of? It's Monday morning, I didn't look at any emails, and now my inbox is full. How do I be calm and not stress out over that? Well, that's a good question. So let's take this formula again and apply it to something like 100 emails, right? Perceived demands greater than perceived resources. When you're starting out at that inbox and you do your first email, are you just doing your first email? Or are you doing the 99 other emails at the same time? For instance, you're writing that one email and then you're thinking, oh no, I got 99 other emails to take care of. This is awful. I hate email. I hate the person that invented email. And I don't know how I'm going to get all of this done. All right? Does that resonate a little bit? So now in that moment, you're not just doing one email, but you're doing that email and the burden of all the other emails. And that's when our demands go through the roof. And nobody has the resources to meet all of those demands. But if you bring your attention to what am I doing right now, the only thing that you can be doing right now is just this one email. And not just this email, this one sentence. And not just this one sentence, this one word. And if you really bring your attention to that level of precision, things become simpler. And that really is the power of mindfulness, to drop our attention into what is here now. And as you integrate that approach to your life, you'll begin to see that much of what causes you stress is a story about the present moment that really has nothing to do with what's happening in this moment. And this doesn't mean you can't plan or have goals, but just acknowledge that that planning and goal setting is happening in this moment. Right? That thoughts about the future are just thoughts happening in the present. And when you take them from this space of reality to, all right, this is just a thought, and what I'm thinking of that could potentially go wrong or happen, or everything that I have to do is actually not happening right now, this moment becomes simpler. And that will be my encouragement to you. See if you can integrate more of that mindset into your life. And of course, a meditation practice does assist with this. And we have plenty of those on Simple Habit. But you can also just shift your mindset and even ask the question, well, what's here right now? When you find yourself triggered, when you find yourself stressed out, stop, take a breath, and say, what's here right now? Give all of your attention and presence to just this moment, just the task at hand, and see the effect that has. All right? Looking forward to talking to you again. Best of luck. Take care.